Hello and welcome to English Hoot. I'm your host, Lily.
And I'm Sam. It's so good to see you again, Lily, and hello to all our listeners.
It's good to see you too, Sam. So, how are you today?
I am great, but this morning I tried to make pancakes.
Oh, how did that go?
Not so good. I wanted to say, this is delicious, but I said, this is suspicious. My friend looked at me with very big eyes.
Oh no. See, that is a perfect example. We are not just learning English words. We want to live in English, to use it for real life, even for suspicious pancakes.
Yes, so our topic today is, are you ready to live in English, not just learn it?
That is a very big question. So let's start at the beginning. Part 1, your learning launchpad.
A launchpad is where a rocket starts. So where do we start with English?
From hello to how are you? We need small, realistic goals. Do not try to read a big book on day 1.
Yes, my first goal was to order a coffee. I practiced one sentence. Can I have a coffee, please? That was my first win.
A win! I love that. Small wins are very important. Next, we need to unlock the core. This means the most important words and grammar.
You do not need to know every word, just the most useful ones, like hello, thank you, where is.
Exactly. And for grammar, start with the present simple. I live here. She works there. Simple, strong sentences.
But how do we remember all this? This brings us to immersion hacks.
Immersion sounds difficult, but it is not. It means putting English in your daily life in small ways.
Can you give us an example, Lily?
Of course, change the language on your phone to English for 10 minutes a day, or listen to one English song when you make breakfast.
That is a great idea. I like to name things in my house. I put a small paper on my table. It says, table. I see it every day.
Perfect. You see? You are living with English. It is not only in a book.
So we have our launch pad, small goals, core words, and little bits of English every day.
Yes, and now a question for our listeners. We want to hear from you.
What was your first small win in English? Was it saying hello? Ordering a coffee? Tell us.
Please write your story in the comments below this video. We read every one and we love to hear from you. Your story can help other learners too.
It's your turn to share. Now let's talk about what happens after the beginning.
Part 2. Beyond the textbook, sustainable growth.
Textbooks are good, but real life is not a textbook. We need to find our flow.
Flow is when you speak and you don't think about every word. It feels natural. How do we find it?
We move from lessons to real conversation. Talk to a friend. Talk to yourself in the mirror. Just speak.
Yes, and do not be afraid. This is where active recall helps.
Active recall? What is that?
It is a smart way to say, try to remember. Do not just read a word. Close the book and try to say it. Try to use it in a sentence.
So if I learn the word apple, I should not just read it. I should say, I have a red apple.
Yes, you make your brain work. This helps new knowledge stick for a long time.
And we have many digital tools to help us. Apps, podcasts like this one, online communities.
What is your favorite app, Sam?
I like apps with short lessons, 5 or 10 minutes a day. It's easy, and I can do it on the bus.
Wonderful. The key is to make it a habit, like brushing your teeth.
Small, easy, and every day. That's sustainable growth.
And this helps us build confidence.
Yes, but Lily, I have a problem. Sometimes I forget new words very quickly. It's frustrating.
I understand. This is where the active recall advantage helps. It's like exercise for your brain.
Exercise? I prefer to sit down.
Me too. But it's simple. After you learn a new word, wait 5 minutes. Then try to write it down or say it without looking.
Oh, I see. So instead of just repeating, I test myself.
Exactly. You are pulling the word from your memory. This makes the connection in your brain much stronger.
That's a great tip. And we can use digital tools for this too. Many apps have flashcard systems that use active recall.
Perfect. Now let's talk about leveraging digital tools. Sam, you mentioned apps before. What about podcasts?
Well, besides our amazing podcast, of course, I listen to short podcasts for learners. They speak slowly and clearly. It helps my ears get used to the sound.
That's a wonderful habit. And online communities? Where can learners talk to other people?
There are many friendly groups online. You can find a language partner. You help them with your language, and they help you with English.
It's like making a new friend and practicing English at the same time. A win-win.
Absolutely. All of this helps us grow in a sustainable way. Not too fast, not too slow, just steady progress.
And that progress builds something very important, confidence. This brings us to part 3, the confidence catalyst.
A catalyst makes something happen faster. So what makes confidence grow faster?
First and most important, embracing mistakes. Sam, tell me about a mistake you made.
Oh, so many. Once I wanted to say I am embarrassed, but I said I am pregnant. The room was very quiet.
Oh, Sam, that is a classic mistake.
It was. But you know what? Everyone laughed, and I laughed too. And I never forgot the word embarrassed again.
See, errors are your best teachers, not roadblocks. They are funny stories later.
That's true. When we are afraid of mistakes, we don't speak. But when we embrace them, we learn so much faster.
This helps us with our next point, finding your voice.
What does that mean, find your voice?
It means developing your own comfortable way of speaking. You don't need to sound like a news reporter. You can be you, but in English.
So, if I am a funny person, I can learn to be funny in English.
Yes, if you are kind and quiet, you can be kind and quiet in English. Your personality can shine through.
I love that idea. And this connects to the power of purpose. Why are we learning English?
Everyone has a different reason, maybe for travel, for a job, for friends, or for movies.
My purpose was to talk to my grandmother. She lives in another country and speaks only English.
That is a beautiful purpose, Sam. When you have a clear why, it is very motivating. On difficult days, you remember your reason.
So, to build confidence, don't fear mistakes, be yourself, and know your reason.
Perfectly said. And now it's time for another question for our wonderful listeners.
We want to know, what is your purpose for learning English? What is your dream for using English in your life?
Please share your dream with us in the comments. Your why is so powerful. Sharing it can inspire you and others.
We can't wait to read them. Now let's talk about how to keep this going for a long, long time. And now we're at part 4, Lifelong Learner Mindset. Learning English is a long journey. How do we stay interested?
The key is staying curious. There is always something new to learn. Maybe it's a new type of music or a new hobby in English.
That's a fun idea. Last month, I started watching videos about gardening in English. I learned words like soil and seed. I don't have a garden, but it was interesting.
That's the spirit. You learn because you are curious. But sometimes learning feels slow. You feel like you are not improving.
Ah, the plateau. I know that feeling. It's like you're walking but not moving forward.
Exactly. So we need the Plateau Buster.
I love that name. What is it?
It's a strategy to break the routine. If you always use an app, try a podcast. If you always study alone, find a partner. Change one small thing.
Oh, so you give your brain a new challenge. That makes sense.
Yes. Another great strategy is sharing your journey. Talk to other learners about your problems. You will see you are not alone.
And you can get new ideas from them. It's very motivating.
It is. And this brings us to our final part 5, English for Life, Effortless Communication.
Effortless. That sounds like a dream.
Maybe not 100% effortless, but easier. The first step is mastering nuance. This means understanding idioms, slang, and cultural contexts.
Can you give an example?
Of course, if someone says it's raining cats and dogs, they don't mean animals are falling from the sky. It means it's raining very heavily. That's an idiom.
I see. So learning these little phrases helps you understand real conversations.
Exactly. Next, we need to think about adapting your English. You don't speak the same way to your friend and to your boss.
Right. With my friend, I say, "Hey, what's up?" With my boss, I say, "Hello, how are you?" It's the same meaning but different style.
Perfect example. You are changing your English for the situation. That is a sign of a true language user.
And finally, we go beyond fluency. This is about truly living and thriving in an English-speaking world.
It's not just about perfect grammar. It's about using English to do things you love, to make friends, to understand jokes, to feel at home.
That is a beautiful goal, to live your life but in English.
Yes. So to finish, let's remember our main idea. Don't just learn English, live it. Start with small steps. Don't fear mistakes. Find your purpose. Stay curious.
And have fun. Learning a language is an adventure.
It is, and we are so happy to be on this adventure with you.
So, for our final question to our listeners,
After listening today, what is one small thing you will change? Will you change your phone's language? Will you learn one idiom? Will you talk to yourself in the mirror? Tell us your one small step in the comments below. We believe in you.
thank you so much for listening to English Hoot. Keep practicing, keep living your English, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Good guy.